Hello everyone, in today's video I will talk about the overview of arbitrations. So arbitrations is a method of a dispute resolutions involving one or more neutral third parties who are usually agreed to by the disputing parties and whose decision is binding. And by agreeing to arbitrations, the parties waive their fundamental rights to bring the dispute before a national court and, in some jurisdictions, the right to a trial by a jury. Unless otherwise agreed, the decisions rendered by the tribunal is final and binding, and it is generally not subject to appeal on the merits. One of the major advantages of the arbitrations is the international recognitions and enforcements of the arbitral awards, and this is largely guaranteed by this convention, which has been ratified by more than 660 states, and this convention obliges courts of member states to recognize and enforce foreign arbitral awards, subject to limited exception. How is arbitrations conducted? Arbitrations usually begins with an arbitrations agreement between the parties, and this agreement can appear as an arbitration clause within a contract. For example, any dispute arising out of or in connections with this contract shall be resolved by the arbitration under the rules of the International Chamber of Commerce. While I will use the International Chamber of Commerce as an example, there are many arbitration institutions around the world, and each institution has its own rules, procedures, and cost structures. Therefore, the choice of institutions often depends on the parties' preferences, their geographic locations, and the chosen seat of arbitrations. Under the Article 4 of the 2021 arbitration rules of the ICC, the claimant must submit a request for arbitrations to the Secretariat at one of the offices specified in the internal document, and upon receipt of the request, the Secretariat notifies both the claimant and the respondent. And this article also specifies the information that must be included in the request for arbitrations, as well as the documents that must accompany it. After the case is registered, the parties appoint the arbitrators. While there are typically one or three arbitrators, but it is depends on the cases itself. And in this document, the court normally specify the three arbitrators where the amount in controversy exceeds over 1 million US dollar, and it also depends on the parties that are from different culture, political, and economic backgrounds. The tribunal then conducts the proceedings, which may include the written submissions, exchange of evidence, witness testimony or witness statement, and hearings. And in this case, arbitration's procedures are usually more flexible and confidential compared to the court litigations.